One more thing is I wanted to add is that this 108, okay, as Shally mentioned also that I was one means I was the prime designer actually, and we started the design in 2000. Now it is 2011, 2000, and 2003, 3 years actually we were working on that, and finally 2003, 2004 we conceptualized it. Then we started doing the actual design, and around 2006 it was actually launched 108. And if you see, when SAT said that, and everywhere, any state you go, they also mention the same thing, that is, it is working perfectly. This is one scheme, if you see that the design is done in a manner that your everywhere it is a success. Means even if there is a not much activities or much care has been taken for implementation, still it is a success. Okay, even a place in Assam, it has been implemented and it is a success. Everybody is talking about it because the design is done in such a manner you will not imagine, because the way we have done the design is better than 911. Actually, I can tell you, we don't have helicopter, but the design was done better than 911 of US. But positively, we don't have helicopter. So when there is a real problem where everything is closed, it's very difficult. But otherwise, it is there, and we planned. That's why I took this topic. We actually planned an insurance at that point of time to connect with all the people who are working, telling the companies that they have to pay 1 rupee per day. It means 365 rupees in a year. So 1 rupee per day the company will pay for all their employees. 1 rupee per day, and insurance will be covered for anything. Means if the patient comes by 108, any treatment is required, it will be free. So that we planned at that time, but you know there are so many issues are there, political, company related, economical, there are so many. I'm not going into it, and then it was not possible. But one thing is that the whole discussions which we did just now, which shows that we have done something different than an ambulance service. What is 108? It is an ambulance service. Okay, it is just nothing but an ambulance service. Call a number and ambulance comes. That's all. But it is totally different than any ambulance service available not only in India, in the world. It's totally different. Nowhere it is linked with any of the ambulance service available anywhere in the world. I'm including US and all the European countries. I can give it as a guaranteed that it is not. So what is the difference then between these two? And that is nothing but the business process engineering. Okay, so we have done the process engineering of the ambulance services in a manner that it didn't remain as an ambulance service, it became an emergency response system. In place of calling a number for an ambulance, this became an emergency number 108, which can be connected to so many things, not only the ambulance, and finally it doesn't wonder. Okay, so that is how I am coming to my topic, and let us see. This is actually perfect place that my presentation came here after Sir's presentation, because he has mentioned so many things about so many applications and so many systems have been developed in Gujarat. Now coming to the healthcare processes, long queues at OPD is still there. Okay, it may not be in one or two hospitals, but in some places or most of the places it is still there. Air of mystification about the status of the patient. All systems are there. Can doctor tell what is the exact status at that point of time? Very difficult. It may not be that simple. No need assessment of admission to hospital or days of stay. Whenever a patient comes for any problem, is there any chance or is there any process of the doctor to find out that I will positively not send the patient to the hospital as an inpatient? We will treat him or her outside only, at OPD only. Will not send. No. First, okay, they first try to see positively it is a small one or not. The moment it's not a small one, fine, get admitted. That's the next statement comes. They don't try to find out that whether it is the best one or it may not be. I know a patient Okay, you are talking, last session you talked about telemedicine. I use telemedicine a lot, but in a totally different manner. My friends are there because I'm in healthcare, a lot of doctors are my friend. And a lot of times I just call them, get the, feedback from them and I use it. And you will be, I don't know whether you believe it or not, 95% time I need not go to a doctor. It has been taken care by this phone call only. Okay, now I'm giving you one example, my personal example I'm giving you. My mother-in-law was detected for cancer. Okay, and then she was admitted for the chemotherapy. That was done. Then they said that a radiation is required for that particular, this is a breast cancer, so that particular place, your radio, that thing has to be, the ray has to be given. So I used the telemedicine with my doctor, my friend, and asked him, do you think it is a good idea? He said, what's the age? I said, around 70. Okay, he said, there's no point of going for it. That's the answer he has given. I went to the doctor, Apollo Hospital in Hyderabad. I went to the doctor. I told him the same thing, sir. You don't feel bad, because a lot of doctor feels bad when I say I have discussed with another, consulted with another doctor and I'm giving my reply as his. But this doctor was very good actually. I told him, if you don't mind, can I tell? He said yes. Then I said that. The moment I said, he said, see, as a corporate hospital, I cannot tell you, don't do it. But somehow I feel your decision is correct. But you have to give it in writing to me, because tomorrow you will say that Apollo Hospital didn't do the treatment if anything, any problem is there. I said fine. We gave it in writing. The patient signed. 6 years over now. No problem is there. Now you think a 70 years person, at that time I think she was 66 or 67, at that person going for that radiotherapy and the 6 or 7 therapies there, how much deterioration or how much problem would have been there, which was not necessary. Now a question comes, this need, whether it's necessary or not, who is taking the decision? Okay, so that is one point. Then multiple visits to hospitals for the same treatment. Why multiple visits? Because every hospital is not having all types of specialties, and nowadays it is the age of specialty. Okay, so for one specialty you have to go to one hospital or one doctor, another specialty, another department or another hospital, another doctor. And 6 doctors, 7 doctors you are going, and I am coming to the sad statement only, all the places is entered into the system, but all are different databases. They never talk among themselves. And who is managing them? We don't know. So that is another problem. Outcome is in suspense. Sometimes the time and sometimes the cure itself. It is a suspense. Very few cases the doctor says clearly on this date the patient will be fine. I am not saying that all these things are possible. I am just saying that these are the issues that are there. These are the problems. Poor quality of service. Now, the moment I say poor quality of service, a lot of people say that government hospitals are having very poor quality of service. What do you mean by poor quality? I have 2 daughters and both the daughters are delivered in government hospitals. And I have 2 insurance. My wife is having 1 insurance. I am having another insurance. So it is not for money. Because I understood that the government hospital, the Osmania Maternity Hospital in Hyderabad provides the best service available in whole Hyderabad. That is what I believe, and that is why I went there. I know the doctor, I know all the places there, and I believe that that is the best place where you can get the best services. So what is the meaning of a poor quality of service? But at the same time, I am not saying that it means that all government hospitals are giving very good quality of service. The point is that how to measure the quality? It is next to impossible to measure the quality of healthcare. I will show you in another diagram why it is. But it is impossible to measure. How to measure the quality of the service? And then comes the poor quality of service. All of us know there is a poor quality of service. But how poor it is and where it is failing. And then doctor is the final decision maker. Whatever doctor says, that is the final thing. No other person is having any say on that. Okay, so let us see now. That is what I am saying. I am not saying, just now I said, no, I am not saying all these are wrong. Okay, I am saying this is what is the present scenario.
Is it attributable, according to you, for a poor health system, doctor not being a final decision?
Yes, sometimes. sometimes they should, means the patients say should be there. It should be a combination of patient and doctor, not only doctor.
Going back to
I will come, one diagram will come later. I'll just talk there, then we will take it as an example. Now coming to the system point of view. This is, I talked about process point of view, about the process, whether the IT system is there, ICT is there or not. Now coming if ICT is there, okay, we find that there are extensive information exchange in a physical manner, okay, multiple entry of data in the system. So different, informations are there, they are getting collected in a physical manner, but they are getting entered in different places, various places to various systems, and there is no integration among them. Doctors now suffer from the information paradox, okay, and this is again not only in India. This particular statement I have taken from Canada, okay, so even in Canada this problem is there, information paradox, okay. So don't know which information to be taken from which place. Patient information is often neither evidence-based nor easily accessible. Again, I am giving you my personal experience, and that also in a best hospital, which is having the best ICT systems, Apollo Hospital. Okay, I personally was admitted there. They have done some test, a particular test, and that test I wanted to see the result after 21 days. After 3 weeks, they wanted a review visit. I went there, and doctor wanted to know what is the difference or variation between these two tests, and me being a very naughty person, intentionally not taken any report with me, intentionally. So I entered, doctor said, where is the previous report? I said, why should I bring? You have the excellent system, the best system available, so why should I bring it? I'm not supposed to bring. Okay, and I know Sangeeta Reddy very well, so I have that chance that if he says something else, okay, call Sangeeta Reddy now, because she only says that all information are available in system. I say, you will not believe, 2 hours I waited. I took time, I know I have to wait. In 2 hours also doctor couldn't find out the information, that test result. And finally, when he understood that it's a serious matter, because just like I'm telling everybody, so it's a serious matter, I will pass this information. They scanned that report which was in my file, put it into the system, and then shown me that it is there in the system, because they couldn't find out that, because the result investigation, lab investigation department is different, and they just print out, and then it is going in some file, magnetic tape or somewhere, it goes somewhere. They have to search that file, and in one day there are 600,000, 10,000 patients. So they have to go through each patient, and then they can find it. It's very difficult task, it's not easy task at all. So that is another problem. Again, my personal thing, okay. So it is not only neither evidence-based, it's also not easily accessible. The moment I am saying not easily accessible, automatically it is becoming neither evidence-based, because if I forget to bring a particular report, it means it is not an evidence-based, because doctor can never find it out that particular point. No EMR. Now, everybody, whenever I say that, everybody will start shouting that, what do you mean by no EMR? There are hundreds of EMR systems are available in India today, and most of the hospitals have implemented EMR. Then why I am saying no EMR? Okay, why I am saying no EMR? Because EMR means electronic medical record. The moment we say electronic medical record, e-prescription is automatically a part of EMR, correct? Yes? How many hospitals is using e-prescription now? That question comes. As per my knowledge, nobody. I don't know, sir, but you can take it forward to your place and find it out whether e-prescription is there or not. As per my knowledge, the prescription is entered by another person. Okay, not by doctor at all. Doctor writes on paper only, and then it goes to some other place, assistant, technical assistant, medical assistant, whatever you call it, they enter it. Some places in Apollo type of places, it is entered at your reception. There are proper people are available there who entered at the reception all the details. Sometimes I personally again faced is that there are two names which is very near, very similar, and it is entered wrong, because it's so similar that the person who read thought that it is this, and then I had to tell, no, it is not this, it is something else. So anyhow, it is done, but the way it is done, so that is a little bit of difficult. The second question comes that, is it having the critical care data, which is the most important part of EMR? That is the CCD. The allergic information, how many EMRs are having that? Okay, and which is the most important information for any doctor. There are so many doctors available here. That's the first things they should know. My mother, again personal information I give, my mother 3 times got problem because she is having sulfur allergy and a doctor has given sulfur medicine 3 times. And one time she has told the doctor before that I am having a sulfur allergy, still it was given. 2 times she didn't tell, it was her mistake, I understand. But one time it happened where she told the doctor also. And doctor later said when I charged him, he said that, oh, I forgot that this medicine is having sulfur. So that's what he just answered to me. But it is not that he forgot, it's just, nobody bothers about it, that's the point. Okay, if allergy comes, then we have the medicine for the allergy, so we can take care of it. That's a different story. Too many controls and checks, we understand. 60% of clinical time is spent searching for, waiting for the patient information. Again, this is taken from a research paper. Okay, it's not my line, it's taken from a research paper which has done some study. So 60% of the time is being spent on searching of the information. Exception is the rule.
The problem
Lot of
is we are in a vicious trap, I would say. Whenever I am also visiting our healthcare facilities, teaching hospitals, there the doctor doesn't have time to
Yes.
sit on the desktop or laptop. There are so many people in the queue, and it is this electronic medical record or electronic prescription should gradually become part of the healthcare system. But we are at a stage where we don't have basically health resources, because but in private hospitals I'm sure it must be happening.
Not all.
Happening in
Not all the
Mac
places.
very successfully. CPOE, what they call the provider computerized physician order entry system, they're adopted right up to 95%. And now the hospital information system are so user friendly. So the doctor doesn't have to key in or type in. It's just drop down menus. And
Drop-down
secondly,
menu, then speaking.
entering data is the voice recognition.
Yes,
software
voice recognition.
have come with 98% accuracy. So with these modalities available, the doctor doesn't have to be.
No, we need to go for it. There is no element of doubt, and that's what I am really concerned about it, to be very frank. See, if the doctor is giving prescription by his hand, there is a huge risk in it.
Yes.
Because it's very difficult to decipher his handwriting. And there are studies which say that in the large number of deaths occur because of the...
That's my next slide, sir.
Achha.
Okay. That's my next slide.
So the point is that technology can be of immense use, at least for that purpose.
Yeah, this slide only.
This slide. Yes, but
Okay.
if accessibility, if you are not able to get the information from the system, that means my system should be so good that if I put the name of the person or anything, it gets reflected on my dashboard and I can do it faster.
I'm from Sahara Hospital, so it's a new corporate hospital. So generally, the doctors who are quite senior, they're not quite IT savvy. So we were evaluating different ERP solutions, right? We also used to still call it an ERP solution. So we evaluated almost all the HIS vendors, HMS vendors. So finally we went to the director and asked him what should be the key feature in the HMS. He said the HMS should be Googling, and we have almost achieved 75% of it. That actually you can Google into your EMR, and any bit of information you have in it, you can get to the patient's records. And it is very much possible because it's all about how you index your database. So it's more to do with the technology rather than to do with the doctor. So the information and if you look at how the hospital applications are used, that's our analysis. We are new to healthcare, but almost 6 years now. So we treat ourselves new still. But we believe that almost 65 to 70% of the information captured in your HIS is being done by the technicians and the nursing staff.
Yes.
So if they are seriously doing it, the doctors have to Google into HIS rather than work into the HIS.
Perfectly correct. That's correct. So again, the whole thing, what I wanted to mean is the same thing which you are saying, is that there should be some changes in the process. So some process engineering is required. Technology is available, people are available, and again, sir, as you mentioned that doctors are not having time. So for that, again, technology is available. There are voice recognition, speech recognition systems are available nowadays. Plus, one more thing we suggested, anyhow, I thought I will not say it here because so much of discussion is there, I am saying it. One discussion or one point which in one of our project which we have decided is that, fine, let it get entered by some other person. But doctor is usually free around 3 o'clock. So 3 to 3:30, half an hour, he can go through all the EMR has been entered on his patients. Okay, and then check and certify, means make it clear that yes, all are correct. If something is written wrong, immediately change it, because that same day doctor knows, it is in his mind that what are the patients came. So something like that, but some process engineering so that this is entered. That's the point. I'm not saying anything that whether, okay, fine. So now coming to that, so the core issue which is coming now is that, is the hospital management system, hospital information system, e-health, or any name you give it, is it for the hospital and doctors or it is for the patient? So that is the question now. You are developing this system for hospital, you are developing this system for the doctors, for the nurses, for the lab assistants, technicians, or you are developing it for patients. So that is the most important part. Okay. I'm not giving any answer here. You can ask yourself, those who are working in this system, and next time when you will design a system, just think it, for whom you are developing it. Okay. So that is the point we have to see, that what is the value we are providing to the patient. And then some statistics says that unnecessary deaths are attributed to medication related errors. Number of them, you cannot imagine how many, number of them. And unneeded or inaptly performed surgeries. I am only one human being and I have seen 2 in my life where surgery is not required and it has been done. And one case where a child of 9 years age, my friend's daughter, 9 years age, got a fracture on the left hand, and just because of the hospitals and doctors, this poor girl had to stay full night without any treatment, because no hospital allowed her to set the bone. They said you have to admit and get operated. And her father said that I have got 10 injuries in my life, 10 the bone break in my life because I'm a football player. I never went for any surgery in my life. I don't want my daughter to go for surgery. 6 hospitals he visited. Finally, he brought her back at night, 9 o'clock. It happened. Night, nothing can be done. So he brought her back to home, and that girl stayed whole night with the broken bone. And next day morning, he was working in DRDO. Our government hospital was there, and it was just done in 3 minutes. Only 3 minutes it took to as a child, and within 1 month she was perfectly fine and running around without any problem. And you understand that if this operation was there, she had to carry that iron rod for next of her life. Now she need not carry anything. So this is a question. Okay, is it required unneeded surgeries, and how many problems are there because of that unneeded surgery? Heavy reliance on paper-based patient records. Okay, again, same thing, the surgery in Apollo Hospital where I was present. I am having a tag. Okay, the moment I entered, they put a magnetic tag. But still, 7 times my papers was checked before the surgery. And later, when I asked, because that time I didn't say anything, I was just saying the thing. Later, when I asked them, when I have a tag, why do you need all the papers? They said very clearly, we don't believe that. I believe that paper only. And paper and your voice is more believable. Operation theatre, we don't believe anything else. We will ask you questions, we will match it with the paper, it matches, fine, perfect. Otherwise, no other things you believe. And again, Apollo Hospital I am talking about. Okay, I don't know, you can check in your hospitals in OT, they believe it or not. No, I am not critical. In the beginning I say that's the best system available. Okay, I told it very clearly. I tell it always, and these presentations I have done in front of, I said this in front of Sangeeta Reddy one day, so I am very much fine on that, because I am not criticizing. I am asking all others also, no, whether your places it is happening or not, you just find it out. Okay.
I think the most important part, Mr. is that we are moving in the right direction.
We are moving in the right direction. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
Things were very bad, and today things are much better.
Much,
I
much
mean,
better.
from
Much,
that
much
point
better.
of view, we need not be
Much, much
totally
better.
pessimistic. Mistakes
I'm
do
not-
happen, and mistakes do get corrected.
See, now if you say about the good things, at least as I said, no, only one report the doctor couldn't find. But the rest of the things, everything was available there. Okay, so only one, because it was a special test, so that report was not connected to my system. But rest of the things are available. I need not carry anything nowadays. I have to carry only that health card which I am having. The moment I give the health card, everything is there. But again, at the same time, they also get the paper file. So most of the hospital, they also get the paper file. And they check both. So there's a synchronization system. Then untimely or mistaken diagnosis, so that is there. Repeat of the data collection process. This is another important thing. Okay, the same data is collected so many times. Okay, and all of us know that. I'm not explaining. And old factors are often missed as data not available. 10 years before what happened to you, that is not available in most of the cases. So these are the side which I started with, that okay, we have to think on this. Positively, we have to also talk about what can be done, what is the way forward. First way forward thing is that, can you streamline the key processes of hospital using some process reengineering? Like Sir said just now, that yes, if doctors are having a problem of entering the data, is there any way of managing that? What process reengineering we can do in the hospital so that all the doctors' entry are properly entered into the system? Is there any way? If it is there, can we connect that particular e-prescription directly to the pharmacy? I was in Shanghai for 2 years in China. Okay, I just gave a call to a doctor and everything is connected. I called a doctor, talked some time, and I went to my next pharmacy next to my house without telling anything. I just gave a number, they gave me their medicine. If that is possible in this manner, why it is not possible within the same hospital? Doctor writes and pharmacy gives the medicine. It's very much possible. So can you do that? That's the point. And it is very much possible. I'm telling you, all the hospitals, this can be done in 1 month time, wherever HIS is there. Because everything is there. It's not that it's not there. Capture information at source, that is fine. Identify the key performance indicators. Because that's poor quality of service we are talking. To understand the quality of service, we need the quality parameters. So what are the quality parameters? Is standing at the OPD for 1 hour is a quality parameter? Is it? If it is, solve it. Okay. Is staying in the hospital is a quality parameter? If you say no, then I will say that Ministry of Health, Government of India has already is having a circular that if a mother is discharged within 48 hours of delivery, then they get some brownie points. Okay, it means a good job done. So it means there's a quality related to this. Okay, so there are different quality parameters are there. So identify them. Simplify the reporting formats. A lot of time the problem is mainly insurance. All of you know. I need not tell. Reporting format is very, very confusing. Okay. So can we change the reporting format? Even the test result. Why I need to have 30 pages of test result when I go for an operation? The moment I go for the operation, my test result booklet is a 30-page booklet. Why they cannot do it in 3 pages the whole thing? Why X-ray should be a 1 full page where only 1 line is the result actually? Nothing else is important except 1 line. Okay, most of that 2 pages, 3 pages report is having 1 line or 2 line important out of it. Okay, let them give it. I am not saying anything, but can you do a process engineering to make 1 more report which is consolidated 1 page or 2 page report? Okay, so something like that. Simplify reporting format. Single integrated collection of data we talked about. Track and monitor each processes. And then once you make this new process, also track. Okay, automatically the question will come. I discussed with a lot of doctors. Okay, I'm sure a lot of doctors are available here also. I discussed with them. I discussed with some doctors, they have never used computer in their life. But when I talk to them and I say that, sir, if 30 days I check, monitor, track and monitor, and I find that except you, everybody in the hospital is using the systems, will you use? And the reply was yes. So that's the point. Okay, if nobody is using, so I'm not using. Nobody will say I will. Nobody will say I will not use it, because learning is not at all a difficult thing, and there are, again, through process engineering we can do so many things where it can be entered into the system. So it is not a problem that this is it's not an issue that they don't know how to use the computer. We can do something else. So finally, what is a business process engineering? So it is a fundamental rethinking and redesign of business processes to achieve dramatic improvements. So we have a lot of systems, we have got a lot of improvements, but can we have some dramatic improvements in the system? So that is where business process engineering is coming into the picture, and that improvement should be on the basis of the cost, quality, service, and the speed. Cost, quality, time, and service. This is the golden quadrangle, all of us know. For any business we do that, so why not for healthcare? So these are the basic principles. I'm not going into it, it is a very big one. So, but one thing only, first one only I am discussing, that is the best on the outcome, what we are looking for. Who is the target sector I am targeting for this improvement? Is it a patient? And what is the outcome I am looking for from the patient side? So that is what is our target. So there are different, this thing is there, means a lot of activities are there which we do. Then, as I mentioned, that we have to also identify the parameters. There are some parameters. This is only some parameters. I am not telling I have got all the parameters. Safety, quality, effective and evidence-based, patient-centered, positively, timely, efficient, and equitable. Should not depend on gender, class, or status. Does it look that it is something is not there? Yeah? Is healthcare, provisioning of healthcare is based on gender or status of the person? In India? Very much. Very much, I am telling you. Okay. Just like I mentioned before that both my daughters are delivered in government hospital. I don't suggest any of you to go to the same hospital. I will not recommend. Because of the status. Okay, the treatment is totally different because of the status, because I know them, they know me, so it is a totally different thing. Okay, similar to gender, lot of gender variation is there. A male patient and a female patient treated totally different manner in most of the hospitals. Positively, I am not talking about the corporate, big corporate hospitals, they don't bother about it. So that is a different story. But in a government hospitals and mainly in the village level, I have seen that personally. Even the ladies, they don't go to the hospital, and if they go, they don't say the things properly. Lot of variations are there. So that is another thing. So this is my picture which I was telling you before, that professional as authority. So that is what I was mentioning. Doctor's voice is the last. Okay, that is the final one. Nobody can say, and that is called health professionals as the authorities. Now I am coming to the next step, health professionals as partners. I am telling you personally, all my doctors I am visiting in last 20, 25 years, 30 years, whatever, means still I really started talking to the doctor. Always I work in this area, never in this area. If I find a doctor who behaves as an authoritarian, immediately I leave that doctor, go to the next doctor. Because my job is very clear, doctor has to explain me what he is doing and what he is thinking. It's not, this is your problem. Why this is my problem, he has to explain. If he is not, he's not a good doctor for me. I don't know. I'm not telling everybody has to believe that. But I'm very clear about it. Doctor should be as a partner. And this has happened now. A lot of places, doctors are behaving as a partner. But we are planning to go one step ahead now. Professionals as a facilitators. Not only as a partners, as a facilitators. A lot of time you can treat yourself. So doctor should become facilitator. Yes, positively that will reduce the payment. That will have a business problem. I am not saying into it. But this is a very good, and it is very much possible, and telemedicine can come here. And not doctor to doctor telemedicine, patient to doctor telemedicine can come here, where doctor will be facilitator. Because in telemedicine there is no proof that doctor has given, and a lot of legal issues are there. But as a facilitator, if doctor says, I am suggesting you, but I have no responsibility. The medicine is being taken by you only, I am not giving you. So, as a facilitator. Then telemedicine can do miracles. Okay, all the legal problems can be solved.
Are there any legal issues in 104 you were referring to in Andhra Pradesh?
I don't know.
Anyone have any complication? Anybody going to the court? and raising
No,
issues
no.
that he has been given a bad or advice in the process, he has suffered anything of that kind?
I have never heard anything. I have never heard anything. But that is in a very low level, means 104 doesn't give you medicine, only suggest, not gives any
They are
medicine.
for the extremely downtrodden people. So
Yeah.
there's an immense demand for healthcare. So
Yeah.
where people are not looking for legality.
It only tells about the first aid, what you should do immediately, and calling 108 or which hospital they have to go, that type of. Not, it is not a telemedicine, truly speaking.
No, that is not telemedicine, but in 104 also, a case may happen where you give them the advice, there is some problem, you say that, and okay, you please take this medicine, that medicine, because paramedics or medics are supposed to manage the telemedicine centers. Sorry, 104 not
Till
emergency.
today, means I am in Hyderabad only. I've never heard any case. I mean, it's a big thing which came in newspaper or there's a case, nothing like that. So small things can be there which I
There
don't
is
know.
no systematic study or study there?
Yeah, two more minutes, two more slides, because discussion is happening in between. Okay, but that's a good thing. So.
Obviously there is one
Okay,
problem.
so
Study.
so she asked me to stop. So just 2 minutes more. So there are, so next level. So we can go here. There's no problem. We can go here. Next level comes is the self-help networks. There are a lot of self-help groups are there, and a huge group of ASHA and the health workers are there. Can we use them into it? And lot of things can be passed through them. So that is the network. So this network can be created. These two positively it will take some more time to reach. We are not here. But we are already here some places, but we can reach here. So our target should be to reach here. I think 2 more slides. Yeah. So these are the different various stakeholders are there, labs, providers, and all those things. And this is where I am actually putting my step into Mr. Shivan Ganju's area. That is National Knowledge Commission, NKC. So NKC has given some recommendations already, and this is more than 3 years old. I think 4 years old it is. It's not recent. And I don't know how much work has been done except the first one. So he will talk about that first one. Initiate development of Indian Health Information Network, and something, maybe some amount of standard and terminology. So these two has just started. I mean, he will tell you the status. But there are so many other things. They call it EHR in case of EMR, electronic health record. A common electronic health record for one person, which can be used in any hospitals in India, whether it's a government or corporate. Frame policies to promote use of IT in healthcare. Every state is working. I was telling sir during the lunchtime the same thing. Sir, you have done so many things in Gujarat. Why it is not getting replicated in other states? Why Mamata is 1 year lying in Gujarat? Why it is not going to other places? Okay. So this is one thing, because there is no policies actually to promote of these things to the other places. Create appropriate policy framework. Then medical informatics to be a part of medical and paramedical curriculum. It is not there. Okay. Nowadays, recently IMI, Indian Association for Medical Informatics, has started doing something. In 1 or 2 places is being added slowly, but it's not there officially. Create an institutional framework for the implementation. So this is my last slide. So these are the recommendations which I am going to put to this August audience. One is positively wide area health network, which is very much important. EMR, including physician order entry systems, e-prescriptions and e-referral. Full, complete, not partly, complete. Reduction of waiting times, particularly between the patient, between the OPD and the lab, or lab to IPD. This waiting time, it's a huge waiting time. Reconfigurable laboratories so that they can perform the most frequently requested test faster. Okay. Again, now you are saying a critic to Apollo. Now I am telling a very good thing of Apollo. 11 tests I have done in exactly 46 minutes. I checked my watch. 11 tests in 46 minutes they have done. Only thing they know that all 11 tests they know in the beginning itself. These are the 11 tests has to be done. Then nicely planned immediately and sent me one by one, and it was done. Okay. And in any other case, this 11 tests will take maybe sometimes 2 days, not even 1 day. So it is very much possible. Share critical patients between hospitals. Now this is another very important suggestions I am going to put here. That is, a lot of times a hospital go on getting patients till they are full, they don't refer to the other hospital. But nowhere, see, you all of us are management people also. Management concept says that you work based at 80 or 85%, not at 100%. 100% efficiency goes down. So the moment you are 75 or 80%, start sending the patient to the other place, not wait till 100% or 120%. Okay. Synchronize the physical and virtual parts of the process. So there are some physical part and there is a virtual means internet system part. Synchronize them, whatever way it's possible, and use a clinical support, decision support system. And finally, I want to conclude by saying that we know a lot of things, but knowing is not enough. We must apply them. At the same time, we have a strong will. Sir is showing that a strong will since morning I am seeing from Sir, but we have to do it. Just having the will will not work. Thank you.